This is your one and only 𝐕𝑅𝑒𝑆𝑝ARK81 with your daily dose of video goodness, and welcome back to some more ARK Extinction. So today we are going to take a look at everything you can get inside of the Blue Orbital Supply Drops. That's the easiest ones that you can farm. They've released the dev kit, so now I can actually see legit 100% all the items that are available. I front loaded all of the information for those people who just want to see what's in the crates and don't really care about any of the details of the whole thing. So we're going to cover that first. I'm just going to be some lists, some music playing and all that shenanigans. Then if you want a more detailed explanation of weights and what you have a better chance to get, rare stuff, all that stuff, that's going to be after the whole little video. Okay, so let's get to it. All right, so here we are in the dev kit and we are on supply crate base hoard easy. So this is your blue orbital supply drop. What we want to look at here is the item sets. So you can see that there are two elements here in the item sets. We expand these. You can see that we have the items with quality and then the items with quantity. Okay, so we're going to start off by taking a look at the items of quality here, and you can see that this set has a weight of 0.8 and the items with quantity have a weight of 1.2. So you have a much higher chance of getting things from this list than you do the list here. And then it further breaks down to even more weights once we get into it. So we're going to expand this, and you can see that we have four different sections here that we can expand even further. We're going to start off with section 0. And you can see that this is the commons section and it has a weight of 1.0. So out of this section here, out of this list, you're going to have a higher chance of getting common items. Now, if I understand the quality from what I read on the wiki, and I'm not 100% sure on this, so take what I'm about to tell you with a grain of salt. You can let me know in the comments if I'm right or wrong, if you know more about this than I do, but the wiki was a tad bit confusing for me. Anyway, from my understanding, the items that you get from this should be at least ramshackle quality. Once again, I think that's correct. I could be wrong on that. Anyway, let's get into the items here. So we expand this. You can see that these items here are your common items. So you are very likely to get pikes, crossbows, swords, sickles, lance, gun, ghillie boots, ghillie gloves, ghillie helmet, ghillie pants, ghillie shirt, and the bow. Now, something you have to keep in mind while we're going over this is what I'm showing you here. The items that we're going over are spit out from each node, and there's 4 nodes. So I think that what happens is it picks from these lists for each one. And I say that because I've gotten duplicate items and other things that are kind of tall tale signs here. So we'll get into that here in a minute. So we're going to close that one up. We're going to go over here to the uncommon and we're going to expand that. You can see it has a weight of 0.6. That's your pike, your crossbow, sword, sickle, lance, gun, chitin boots, gloves, helmet, pants, shirt, dino leash, gotcha saddle, and the gas bag saddle. What I find interesting though is that these have a minimum quality of 1.5 as opposed to the first set that had the minimum quality of 1.6, and they all have the max quality of 3.0, which should be ascendant. Okay, we're going to look at the second list, or the third list here, which is the rare items. You can see that this has a weight of 0.1. We will expand that. That's all your flak armor. Dire saddle, Carno saddle, Baryonic saddle, Parasaur saddle, Thylo saddle, the Megatherium, Rhino, all the saddles there, Tappy saddle, your machined pistol, which is the fabricated pistol, machined shotgun, which is the pump action shotgun, and the rifle Deodon saddle. This is an actual enforcer spawner, so the unassembled enforcer, which is interesting because I've never gotten one of these, and I'm wondering how it judges like the level, because I don't see anything in here that would distinguish the level that you get. So I'm wondering if it's just a level 1 of ascendant quality or whatever quality. Yeah, that's an interesting one because I didn't know that was in there. I've never seen those before. And then last but not least, we have the owl saddle. The other cool thing about these is you can see here, all of this stuff has a chance to be a blueprint. So we got a chance to be blueprint override of 0.4. And if we take a look at these other ones, they have the same thing. So the first section, the uncommon, 0.4. And if we come up here to the commons, chance to be a blueprint, 0.4. So it's interesting that all of that stuff can also be a blueprint of the item as well. And our last list here, which is saddles, so now you understand why I had the saddle category at the beginning of the video. We have just a bunch of random saddles here. You got Stego, Packy, and you've already read them all. So there's the saddles. So it's interesting that that's a separate category, and that is at a weight of 0.25 as opposed to the rare here that actually has, it should be in between these two because it's slightly higher than the rare, but not as high as the uncommon, because this would technically be 0.60 and this would technically be 0.10. So the saddle is a slightly higher chance, or the saddles category, I should say, is a slightly higher chance than the rare category. All of these can spawn as blueprints or should be able to spawn as blueprints as well. Okay, so that covers all of the items with quality. Let's take a look at the items with quantity. And we got 14 different items to look at in this list. So your first one here is the cryopod. Next up, we have the element dust, and we can expand that. You can see there that it's the element dust, and you can get anywhere from 20 to 60 of the element dust. And once again, that could be per node on the supply drop. Then we have the shards. You can get 1 to 5 of the shards. That's element shards, by the way. Then we have the chitin. You can get anywhere from 5 to 20 chitin. Next up, we have jerky. So you can get 1 to 6 jerky. Lamb chops. You can get 1 to 2 lamb chops. Next up, we have a soup category, which is broken down even further into more items. And this is where all the soups in the lists at the beginning of the video came from. So you have a chance to get all of these different soups. Plus it was funny that they stuck the veggie cake and the stamina drink in there. And for the soups, you can get anywhere from 1 to 4 of them. And that would be per whatever it spawns. So for example, if it was to say spawn the Enduro stew, you would get 1 to 4 of the stack. Next we have stone. You can get 30 to 60 stone. Then we have spark powder, 10 to 30 spark powder. Rare mushrooms, you can get 2 to 6 rare mushrooms. Rare flowers, you can get 2 to 6 rare flowers. Crystal, you can get 10 to 30 crystal. Then you have structures common, and we can expand that to see that it includes the wood spike wall, the wood floor, wood pillar, stone floor, and stone pillar, and you can get 10 to 20 of any of these. And last but not least, we have the structures rare, and these have individual weights per each one. So if we take a look at this one, you can see that it does not have individual weights. However, this section does, so it would just coincide. What it does is like, so 0 is 0, 1 goes with 1, so that's how they're paired up. So you have, I think what they did is they did that to make sure that if you get the gate, you get the frame for the corresponding gate. So you can see here that 0 and 1 both have a weight of 1, and 2 and 3 both have a weight of 0.2. So if we collapse this back down and we take a look at the overall settings here, you can see that with the items of quantity, we can get anywhere from 4 to 8 of any of these items, which could explain why that you see 4 cryopods sometimes, even though that the cryopod is listed as a maximum of 1. So only 1 would drop, but a maximum of 4 items can drop if this one is triggered, which it's going to be triggered more often than this list because this list is at 0.8 and this one's at 1.20. So that would explain why you can get multiple cryopods. And basically when you see more than one cryopod, you know that you're missing out on all these other items that you could have gotten from here because the cryopods essentially rolled that many times. And then if we take a look at here, it would be the same situation. So the max number that you can get is 1 and the minimum number is 1. So essentially when it hits, it's only going to spawn one of these items. You shouldn't see multiples from a specific node. Okay, so that should pretty much cover everything. If you got any questions, let me know in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them, but hopefully that gives you a more detailed understanding of what drops from the Blue Orbital Supply Drops. I plan on covering all the other supply drops as well, so if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, make sure you do that so you can catch all the other videos in the future. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. If you like what you saw, consider hitting that sub button. I want to give a big thank you to my patrons for making this episode possible. You all are absolutely amazing people. If you would like to join my Elite Crew Patreon supporters, please check out the link in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment down below and let me know what you thought. If you're shy, you don't like to comment, just hit that thumbs up button and show your support. Until next time, thanks for watching.